Hey, hello everyone. This is a new thing I want to start. I want to solve organic chemistry of the GATE question papers and then through that teach organic chemistry. So my idea will be not just to solve a question and then you learn through it. We'll try to see the all angles of the question and then so that we understand all the what should I say, history and geography of that questions, and then we solve it. Okay, so today I'm going to start with GATE question paper of 2020, and today I'm going to solve only first 5 questions. And interestingly, all those 5 questions are just organic. Okay, so thereafter, hereafter also, when I do questions, I'll be doing only organic, but I'll do 5 questions in one video. So let's start. So first question is suitable reagent for the following transformation. So what you can see here is you have a alpha beta unsaturated ketone and you have to reduce only the ketonic part and make it into alcohol, and you have to keep the double bond intact. So as I said, I want to solve everything of this question, not just how to get this answer. So let us see the choices. The first choice which it gives is catalytic hydrogenation. It uses H2 in presence of palladium and carbon. So now H2PDC, this is a reaction in which the first to attack will be C double bond C bond. Okay, C double bond O bond is less reactive than C double bond C, and therefore C double bond C gets first reduced, and therefore what will happen is this double bond remains intact, and only this double bond C double bond O remains intact, and C double bond C will get reduced. But if you increase temperature and pressure, which you can do by changing reaction conditions, then you can reduce both of them. But it is not possible by catalytic hydrogenation to reduce specifically ketone to alcohol, whereas leave the double bond intact. Fine. So definitely that's not the answer. So let's see choice number 2. So choice number 2 says hydrazine in presence of KOH and heat it. So hydrazine in presence of KOH or NOH, either of the base, and heat. This reaction is called as Wolff-Kishner reduction. So you have to understand what is Wolff-Kishner reduction. Wolff-Kishner reduction is used for reducing C double bond O to CH2. So if you are having this reactant and if you carry out using the choice B, then what will happen is at the end, this part will go off and only double bond will remain, and this will not become OH, it will become CH2. This ring will be saturated and this double bond will be here. So this part of the carbon will get saturated, become CH2, right? And answer C, choice C is the answer, which we'll do later. Let us see with what's wrong with choice D. So choice D, you can see here, it is lithium and liquid ammonia. So lithium and liquid ammonia or sodium liquid ammonia, this is called as Birch reduction. So let's see what happens in Birch reduction. So Birch reduction, what happens is initially lithium in presence of liquid ammonia gives 1 electron, and then followed by this you get a negative charge, and that negative charge pulls away proton from ammonia and becomes NH2 minus. Okay? So let's see what happens when you have alpha beta unsaturated ketone. So first it goes by radical mechanism. Oxygen stabilizes the electron, so you get 1 electron here, and this double bond is breaking, right? So 1 electron is coming here, 1 electron is coming here, so double bond comes here, and both on oxygen and on this carbon you get electron. So when you add first electron, oxygen takes another electron and becomes negative charge, and then you add another electron, you get negative charge here, and then from the solvent proton is taken. Now the proton is taken by this carbon, because carbon is less stable, it is more reactive. Oxygen can stabilize negative charge, you understand this. Oxygen is more electronegative than carbon, so oxygen can stabilize negative charge. Carbon cannot, so carbon immediately picks up proton and you get here, and then you get O minus and double bond is there. If you add any electrophile, something like bromination you want to do, or you can do Friedel-Crafts alkylation kind of thing. So you add electrophile, so this bond comes here and this takes away electrophile. So you get C double bond O intact. whereas double bond disappears. And what we need here is double bond intact, C double bond O getting reduced to alcohols. So of course the last choice is NaBH4 CeCl3. So let's see what is this CeCl3. So this CeCl3 basically has Ce3 plus, cerium 3 plus ion. It's a very hard electrophile. It is called as Luche's reagent. CeCl3 is called as Luche's reagent. What it is used for? It is used for activating C double bond O bond. Now Ce3 plus is hard. So when it is hard base, it will be attracted towards hard. It's a hard acid, so it will be attracted towards hard base, or we can say it is hard electrophile, so it is attracted towards hard nucleophile. So Ce3 plus is there. Oxygen has lone pair. You know, oxygen is small. Oxygen is electronegative, so it holds its electrons very close to itself. So the lobe is not big. You understand? Lobe is not big. If the lobe is big, it is soft nucleophile, because what is hard and soft? Hard means hard to polarize, soft means soft to polarize, easy to polarize. So this one is hard. The electron, the lone pair of electrons in the lobe, they are very close towards the oxygen, and therefore you cannot polarize, you cannot pull them much. So it is hard, it interacts with Ce3 plus, and when it interacts with Ce3 plus, you get this kind of intermediate O plus, and Ce3 plus basically becomes Ce2 plus, or you can say it's just a dative bond. So now because of this, what happens? Oxygen starts pulling electron much more towards itself. You understand? Oxygen is electronegative. Electronegative matlab kya? It wants more electron. Now it is having positive charge. So positive charge, so it wants much more electron, much more negative charge. So electrons is negative charge, so it pulls the electron. So what happens is electron gets pulled here towards the oxygen, and therefore amazing, tremendous amount of positive polarities developed on this carbonyl carbon, which I have put a star. So that becomes highly electrophilic. And then you have NaBH4, you know, they all work as hydride donor. You never write H minus. H minus is a hopeless nucleophile, will not attract, it will not attack at any cost. So BH4, this hydride minus, you have to show through the bond this mechanism, and this goes and attacks, and this comes up, and it becomes CH, then it takes away H later, and it reduces. So Luche's reagent will be the best way, along with NaBH4, to reduce alpha beta unsaturated ketone into just alcohol with alpha beta unsaturation. Let's go to question number 2. So the question number 2 says major product formed in the following reaction sequence. So you are having interesting molecule. It has OMe, which will pump electron through resonance. So most powerful electron donating group, because it pumps by plus R. And you have ET, ethyl group. This also pumps electron by donating through plus I effect through sigma bond, and this Me also pumps. So now you're doing first Birch reduction. You can see lithium liquid ammonia, tertiary butane is just a solvent, followed by ozone lysis. Ozone lysis is damn easy. First step is what makes this question quite complicated. Let's see what happens here. So generally what I would have done is I should have started from this on this carbon on which OMe is there, because it's most activated. I did not start with it, but it does not matter. Either way it could have been fine. What you have to understand is wherever there is a donating group, their negative charge won't come. So even if electrons separate out, it will immediately go to double bond. So we'll try to avoid negative charge on this carbon, on this carbon, and on this carbon, because all three have electron donating groups. And apart from that, when you do Birch reduction on benzene systems, you get 2 electrons, and both electrons have to be in para position. So let's start from here. Why? Because this carbon does not have electron donating group. So it will be easy to put negative charge here. So what I have done is I have put out electron here, and another electron I have made it here, one electron has come in between these two carbon. This pi bond also one electron has come here. So you get a double bond here, and the last electron has come to this side. So you are having a dot here. So what is important, what is interesting is both the electrons, they come parallel to each other. You need not have started from here, you could have started from anywhere, but you should have got this intermediate, because these are the two positions which do not have electron donating group, and they both are parallel to each other. Now you put electron. So when you put electron, one of them will take electron. So let's imagine this part is taking electron, you get a negative charge, because when it is having one electron, it is neutral. Another electron, it gets negative charge. Two electrons are there, it gets negative charge. It pulls away proton from the solvent. Here it was tertiary butanol, becomes H. Again, same process repeats, and you get H here. Now, next step is ozonolysis. Now, ozone is an electrophile. Remember, ozone is an electrophile. It wants electrons. Remember this you cannot forget. That's why this question is not very easy. You have to understand a lot of logic behind it. So it wants electrons, so it will attack the most activated center. So which double bond is most activated center is what we have to look. Now look here, this was what is the reactant. Now OMe pumps electron, ET pumps electron on this double bond. Here only Me pumps electron, and here hydrogen is there. Hydrogen will not pump electron. I hope I am making myself clear. So here just one pumping group is there, that is a plus I, and this one does not pump. On this double bond, you are having ET, which pumps electron by, it is ethyl group, pumps by plus I effect through sigma bond, and OMe pumps by resonance. So resonance is much stronger than inductive effect. So this is very, very activated. So when you react with ozone, first you get is ozonoid. Even if you don't know intermediate, it's fine, but you should know this intermediate, how it looks like. So basically one oxygen comes up and breaks up whole double bond, sigma and pi bond has broken, and you get this kind of ozonoid. So this kind of bridge has been formed. Ozone has acted as cement, and then you hydrolyze it. So you can do hydrolysis either by zinc and water. They generally do by zinc and water also, okay? Zinc and water. Or you can do by dimethyl sulfide. So dimethyl sulfide, when you react, then becomes dimethyl sulfoxide. It takes away one of the oxygen. Same thing happens with this. So basically kind of flood has come. So this bond, this oxygen has gone off. It becomes dimethyl sulfoxide. I should have written here. You are getting here S double bond O, and this bond breaks and you get ketonic group on this carbon. So you get a double bond here between this carbon and this carbon, you get double bond O, and here also you're getting ketonic group, but because OMe is there, it becomes ester. Sorry, here this becomes ester, COOMe. So let's revise what I have told just now. You have to understand this concept, very, very important. Even if you don't understand ozonoid and all, you don't have to worry. What you have to understand is ozonolysis followed by hydrolysis leads to cleavage of this. I'm so sorry. Leads to cleavage of this. I don't have much control over the mouse, so that's creating a lot of problem. Let's see now. Yeah. So if you this double bond gets cut in between, and you put oxygen this side also, and you put oxygen this side also. That's what is happening. So you can see here, you are cutting this bond, and you get double bond O. So this double bond O has come here. Here also double bond O has come. So that double bond O is here. And apart from that, what is very important is this part we are not touching. So this double bond makes the system rigid. So what happens is, if you look at this bond, there is hydrogen here. So you see, if I give preference, so On this carbon, this one gets first preference, this one gets second preference because atomic number. This one is carbon, this one is hydrogen. Here also, if you see, we go bond by bond. So here just one CH3 is there, here is CH2 followed by another carbon. So this gets first preference, this one gets second preference. So you can see 2 and 2 are on one side, 1 and 1 are on one side. So it is Z. So generally rings are always of Z conformation in alkene because the bulky group is part of the ring. So in the product also, this conformation, this geometry will be retained, and therefore you can see here you are getting a cis alkene or Z alkene. So therefore you get this product, and the answer is C. See, between C and D, just the difference was cis and trans. So people in hurry, because you have solved so much, then last part you tend to forget that you don't bother, but you have to see this part. This is Z, this one is Z, whereas this one is E, and the stereochemistry of the reactant is retained, and therefore with the product you are getting Z product, not E product. Let's go to question number 3. The question number 3 says, major product for the following reaction. So here they have given a big molecule and they have put acid. They have not specified what kind of H plus is it. Is it aqueous acid or non-aqueous? It's tough to get non-aqueous acid, but you can get, you can just use beads, acidic beads come, so they'll give you non-aqueous acid. So if I look at the functional groups, first functional group is ketone here, another functional group is ester here. So generally we know that if you have ester, so it's a cyclic ester is called as lactone. If you put aqueous acid, something like H3O plus, then this should have broken and you should have got OH and COH. Esters hydrolyze in presence of acid and you should have got OH and COH. But you can see in all the products, the ester is intact. That means ester is not being attacked and it's mostly non-aqueous proton. So first one to attack is ketone group here. Okay, so let's see the answer. So this ketonic group is which is attached. So the ketone lone pair, oxygen lone pair goes and attacks proton, you get this. Now you see this part. Now this double bond is there, so it can come up. So two types of delocalization possible. One is this one, right? So another one is this one. This double bond moves in, right? Let us look at both of them. So imagine if this double bond is migrating, you get a tertiary carbocation, very, very stable. Now, if it is stable, rearrangement is not possible because rearrangement happens when the carbocation is not stable and then it rearranges to give you more stable carbocation. So at the end, what will happen? You will get again tautomerization. This will come down here and you will get starting material back. This also must be happening. It's not that only this double bond will be migrating, this double bond also will be migrating. But at the end, you are getting starting material. So this migration is of no consequence. What happens if this double bond migrates? Let us look at it. So imagine if this double bond migrates. So if this double bond migrates, then you get a secondary carbocation. Now you know tertiary carbocation is more stable than secondary. So this methyl will immediately migrate here and you get a positive charge here. Okay. Now understand this. Initially, this Me I had put as toward the viewer. Now I have put a dash line. Okay, like it's wavy line. Wavy means this Me we are not fixing stereochemistry. It can be towards the viewer. It can be away from the viewer. You understand, when positive charge is formed, this carbon is sp2 hybridized. So basically Carbon, has 4 bonds, but here because positive charge there, it has 3 bonds. So it is trigonal planar. So one hydrogen was here, and then there is a p orbital. So one p orbital, what happens is one lobe is coming outside the screen, another lobe is going inside the screen. If I had 3-dimensional ink, I would have drawn it outside, but I cannot draw, so that's why I'm putting it down. But basically it's coming out and coming in, and both the lobes are equally big, both the lobes are equally available. So this ME will attack either this lobe or it will attack that lobe. So you'll get a mixture of both front and behind. So I'm putting wavy line. Stereochemistry is not retained. But what happened in this case is you are getting 2 conjugated double bonds and a positive charge. So here also conjugation is possible. Conjugation means every atom should have one p orbital. So here there is vacant p orbital and all the p orbitals have one electron here. If a p orbital comes here, then we'll have an aromatic system. And always organic molecules wants to become more and more stable. The whole chemistry is driven by this. System wants to become more stable. So if system becomes aromatic, it becomes way more stable, and therefore in the last step what happens, see this proton, some base will be there, solvent itself acts as a base, this base will take away this proton, and this comes here, and this comes here, and you get a double bond here, and you get this product. So this product was A. Let us look at it. So this product was A. You can verify for yourself. What all I am speaking is all very well written in this answers. I will try to put it in my description section, this PDF also as a drive. I'll put it, so you can go through the answer again if you don't understand. But very, very detailed answer has been given here. Let's look at this molecule. The major product formed for the following transformation is, so here you are using zinc followed by benzaldehyde, and here you are having ester and alkyl halide double bond CH2. Okay, looks very complicated. See, the product also quite complicated it is, but don't get bogged down. If you see any metal and if you see CX bond, always, without second thought, always insert the metal in between C and X. X is basically halogen. So what you're doing is, you are having this molecule, you are inserting zinc in between, and you are getting ZnBr. Now you understand, you have added zinc. Now zinc is a metal. Now you know metal has lot of definitions, but one definition which will never fail it. Like you cannot say metals are always shiny, metals are always hard, because you always find the exception. But one thing which will never have exception is metals are electropositive in nature. What do I mean by that? Electropositive means it gives electron to get positive charge. So basically carbon is more electronegative than zinc. So zinc is giving electron to carbon. So carbon is having kind of negative charge. Zinc is having kind of positive charge. Right word will be carbon has negative polarity, zinc has positive polarity, and it makes carbon quite reactive. Okay? Now what happens is, now the attack will happen. On which carbon attack will happen? So if you have carbonyl carbon, carbonyl carbon, this carbon is highly electrophilic. Why it is electrophilic is because if you make molecular orbital picture, now carbon is less electronegative than oxygen, so oxygen is more electronegative. So oxygen molecular orbital lies lower. I'm talking about energy. So oxygen's atomic orbital has lower energy compared to carbon's atomic orbital. Always electronegative atom has lesser energy atomic orbital. Now when you are making pi molecular orbitals, now you are having pi and pi star. So what happens is, bonding molecular orbital is closer towards oxygen, whereas anti-bonding molecular orbital, which is vacant, Bonding molecular orbitals has 2 electrons, but anti-bonding molecular orbital is vacant, that is closer towards carbon, and therefore carbon accepts nucleophile. Carbon accepts nucleophile. Okay, so we are having this here, you put it here, and this will go and attack, and you get nucleophilic attack on the carbonyl carbon. Other way to look at it is carbon oxygen is there, oxygen is more electronegative, so it pulls electron towards itself. So now carbon is losing electrons, so carbon gets positive polarity, and therefore nucleophile, which is basically electron rich center, they go and attack. So here also negative charge is there, so this goes and attacks the benzaldehyde. One thought which came to my mind is, will it not attack here? It's tough. Why? Because aldehyde and ester, what happens is oxygen is here, so oxygen also resonates. When it resonates, so lot of negative charge is on this carbon, so the electrophilicity reduces on this carbon. That problem is not there with the carbonyl group. Here lot of positive polarity is there. Apart from that also, here it would have given 3-membered ring. Now 3-membered ring is, though kinetically favored, thermodynamically very, very unstable. So it will rather undergo intermolecular reaction, and this bond goes and attacks here. I hope you understand what I meant by 3-membered ring is kinetically favored but thermodynamically unstable. Kinetically favored means it happens very fast, intermediate is stable, but product is highly unstable, therefore thermodynamically disfavored. So this carbon goes and attacks here on this carbonyl carbon. You can see this carbon is having negative charge, this goes and attacks, and you get negative charge here. Now the negative charge will go and attack on this carbon, because now we are getting 5-membered ring. So what happens? You have to draw in 2 steps. So I am drawing a concerted diagram. First oxygen gets electron, second step it goes down, so you can show with double-headed arrow, which is not wrong, and then you can show the removal of OET, and you get this kind of product. This product is same, I have just given the counting. You can see here I start with carbonyl, so that is 1. At position number 2, that's C double bond CH2, that is 2, 3, and on the benzene 4. I can draw it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. So on position number 1 I'm getting carbonyl, position number 2 I'm getting alkene, 3 and 4 I'm getting benzene. So answer is C. So the answer is C. Okay, you can look at others, nothing else is fitting in. Okay, let's move ahead. Now this was quite complicated question. Absolute stereochemistry of the given compound. So this is the molecule, and they are asking absolute stereochemistry at both chiral centers, that is 4A and 8A. So this chiral carbon was 4A and this chiral carbon was 8A. Now it's very tough, because you are seeing this OH is away from the viewer, and everything else they have drawn in the plane. This CHO is away from the viewer, and everything else is in the plane. So for absolute configuration you have to go step by step. So let's do step by step and I'll explain. This kind of molecule as Decalene systems. So what happens, you can see this CHO is away from the viewer and this OH is away from the viewer, and both of them are on the bridge carbon. You can make out it is cis-decalene. Trans means one should have been towards the viewer, other should have been away from the viewer. So let us look at this molecule. So if you are having 2 groups on the bridge, both of them are away from the viewer, then it is cis-decalene. So that's what I have drawn here, cis-decalene. You can draw it like this, and you can see X is away from the viewer, so I have put is X below the plane. And similarly Y is away from the viewer, so this Y is also below the plane, and I have fused the 2 ring systems. Had the system been something like this, one of them is towards the viewer and another one is away from the viewer, then you have to draw trans-decalene system. So now you can see this X is above the plane. Imagine this is the plane, so this is above the plane and this Y is below the plane, so it is trans. Whereas here what was happening? Here what is happening? You know, on a cyclic system, on the chair conformation, what happens? On the chair conformation, one is axial, one is equatorial. Here also one is axial, one is equatorial. Here you can see, here you can see on this carbon, if this is the plane, this is above the plane, this is below the plane. So X is below the plane. Similarly, if you look here, this part is above the plane and this Y is below the plane. So both X and Y are below the plane. Both X and Y are below the plane. Therefore, it is cis-decalene. I hope everybody understands. I hope everybody understands. You can see something like this. You can draw a chair conformation. All chair will have this. Wherever it is pointing, make straight line there. Here it is pointing, see, it is going up, it is going up. So the pointed figure is coming, the pointed carbon is coming by climbing from both sides. So make the axial up. Now to reach this carbon, this is going down and this is going down. So the axial carbon will come down. So now look at here, one carbon is below axial, so equatorial will be on the side. Here equatorial will be on the side, here equatorial will be on the side. You can see here you drew axial down, so axial is below the plane, equatorial is above the plane. Similarly here you drew axial up, so axial is above the plane, equatorial is below the plane. Here again equatorial is above the plane, axial is below the plane. Same concept we have used and we have drawn the cis-decalene system. Okay. Now for giving priority, what we have to do, all this I have written in great details. You can read it, you can pause also and read it. But basically, when you give priority, you have to give according to the atomic numbers. So if imagine a chiral carbon is there, it has 4 substituents. A chiral carbon is there, it is 4 substituents. One is hydrogen, one is carbon, one is oxygen, and one is fluorine. So what happens, you know, fluorine has highest atomic number, then comes oxygen, then comes carbon, then comes hydrogen. So first priority goes to fluorine, second to oxygen, third to carbon, and fourth to hydrogen. Okay. And imagine if hydrogen deuterium is there, they both have same atomic number. Then we go to atomic mass. Apart from that, what happens? Imagine both of them are having carbon only. Here, both of them are having carbon. Then which one to give preference? Imagine one of them is only CH3 and another one is CH2 and another carbon is there. We go step by step. So here first bond we are not able to differentiate because first bond is carbon. Second bond here is 3 hydrogens, whereas second here is 2 hydrogen, 1 carbon. Always look for atom with highest atomic number. So here there is carbon, whereas here there is no carbon. So this will get more preference than CH3. Okay. So this is the basic criteria for giving priority. So let's look for 4A first. So 4A, basically, look here, you are having one OH and you are having CH2, CH, double bond CH. Here there is CH2, 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 and here you are having C and C double bond O. So that's what I have drawn here. Okay. So we'll go bond by bond. We will go bond by bond. So first bond here is oxygen. Here first bond is carbon, here first bond is carbon, here first bond is carbon. So these three we cannot differentiate in the first step, but clearly OH gets first priority because oxygen atomic number is 8 and carbon atomic number is 6. 8 is higher than 6. 8 is greater than 6. Now, another thing, what happens if something double bond is there, something like C double bond O is there. So if C double bond O is there, you have to consider as carbon is bonded to 2 oxygen. Similarly, you have to also consider oxygen is bonded to 2 carbon. So C double bond O, what I'm doing? I have to draw 2 carbon atoms. So this carbon I'm looking at. So this is the standard carbon which I'm taking. It is bonded to double bond oxygen. So for giving priority sake, I have to bond it with 2 oxygen atom. So first oxygen atom, second oxygen atom. But not only carbon is bonded to 2 oxygen atoms, oxygen also having double bond with carbon. So oxygen should also have 2 bonds with carbon. So one of them you can take a reference. So this is having with 1 carbon, make another carbon. That's how we proceed. That's how we proceed. So let's break it up. So if you remember here, this is another carbon here, it was C double bond O. So what I have done is C oxygen, oxygen, and one of the oxygen I have put another carbon. And here there was C double bond C. So basically 2 carbons are there. So I have made 2 carbons. I hope this much will be enough to solve our problem. So first bonding, we saw that very clearly this one got first priority. Now I'm going to second priority. So first one was carbon, first one was carbon, first one was carbon. So all the alpha led us to carbon. Now let's go to beta. Beta here carbon, beta here carbon, beta here carbon. Again, I cannot make out because all of them have only, all the beta position have just 1 carbon atom. So now what I have to do is I have to go to third bond. Now third bond C double bond O was there. So there is 1 oxygen, there is another oxygen, and there is 1 carbon on the gamma position. But is here what happened? Double bond was there. So 2 carbons are there. And here carbon, gamma, 1 carbon is there. So very clearly, when carbon oxygen fight is there, you have to just give oxygen. So oxygen gets more priority, then comes here because on the gamma position 2 carbons are there, whereas here gamma position only 1 carbon is there. Rest will be hydrogen. So clear cut priority will be first, second, third, and fourth. So this is the priority. All that I said is written here. I'll just stop for 1 second so that you can read it. You can pause and read it also. Let's go down. So we have given the priority 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now what happens? Now the priority for giving absolute configuration, the lowest priority has to face away from the viewer, and then you have to see 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Their spatial arrangement you have to see. If the spatial arrangement goes in clockwise, then it is R. And imagine spatial arrangement. So clockwise, you need not be on the screen. Something can come out and inside also. So, but if priority goes anti-clockwise, now this is anti-clockwise. Clock doesn't move like this. If it goes anti-clockwise, then you have to give S. But important criteria is the lowest priority has to be away from the viewer. If the lowest priority is towards the viewer, very simple thing, you do all the operations, but if you get R, you write it as S. If you get S, you write it as R. Why? Because the lowest priority has to be away from the viewer, but what you got is when the lowest priority is towards the viewer. If the lowest priority is in the plane, then that's the toughest job. Then you have to look it from an angle so that it is away from the viewer. Otherwise, there is no issue. So now if a chair is there, you understand this chair? This chair, though we draw planar, it's not planar. This is coming out. I'll do one thing. I will pin myself. Now look at me. Look at me, please, my hand. Imagine if this is what I had drawn cyclohexane. But cyclohexane is not like that. It is coming like this. So one part is behind, the other part is coming front. So chair conformation like this. So now I'll unpin myself. I'll show you in that molecule. So you look at this molecule. So this part is what is coming out. So this part is what is coming out. This part is coming out. This part is coming in. So it's like this part is going behind. It's like this part is separating. This bond is going behind the screen. and this part is outside the screen, and this whole part is behind the screen, this whole part is towards the screen. Now I'm looking at position 4a, only at this position. I'm looking front of the screen, so you understand. So this was coming front from the behind. That means from towards the viewer, this bond is going behind. Correct now? This bond is going behind. So this part of the ring I have drawn dash, that is going away from the viewer, and whereas this bond and this bond is coming towards the viewer, so I have drawn into solid line, whereas this OH is in the plane, it has just gone down. So now what had happened, you had given preference, first preference to OH, second preference to this, third to this, and fourth to this. Now fourth is this one. Fourth should have been away from the viewer, but fourth is towards the viewer. So what do you do? You just find out it is going clockwise or anti-clockwise. Whatever you're getting, you write opposite of it. So now if you look at it, you have to look only at 1, 2, and 3, not at fourth. Fourth just has to be away from the viewer. Now it is towards the viewer, so we don't bother. Now it is 1, 2, and 3. So it's going like this, 1, 2, and 3. So you know, clock moves like this. You should watch the clock, how it moves, the hand of the clock. So this is moving like this, so it looks like it is going clockwise. So if it is going clockwise, it should be R, but you know, because the lowest part is towards the viewer, you write opposite. Therefore 4a position is S configuration, absolute configuration. Now let us look at position 8a. Now 8a, I did not put so much hard work for again detail analysis, but basically you can understand. Let us look at and give the priority. Let us give the priority. One sec now. Let us give priority at 8a. So we'll go bond by bond. First bond is carbon, first bond is carbon, first bond is carbon, first bond is carbon. I cannot give preference. Go to second bond. So here let us see. So here this carbon attached to 2 oxygen atom and 1 carbon. This carbon attached to 2 oxygen atom and 1 hydrogen. Whereas this one is attached to another carbon and carbon again. So carbon and 2 hydrogen. Whereas this one attached to 2 carbon and 1 oxygen. So very clearly what we can make out is, these two are in fight because they both have 2 oxygen atom, because it is C double bond OH, okay? CHO is a aldehyde, so you know it is C double bond O and H. So this oxygen attached to this carbon attached to 2 oxygen atom, this is also attached to 2 oxygen atom. Whereas this carbon attached to 1 oxygen atom, whereas this attached to 1 carbon. So very clearly what I can do is, I can give fourth preference to this one because no oxygen. I can give third preference to this one because only 1 oxygen. And here it is 2 oxygen plus another carbon. Whereas here it is 2 oxygen and 1 hydrogen. So what happens is, so very clearly you are giving priority 1 to this one and priority 2 to this one. And that's what it is. Now you understand, I'm looking from front, this one is behind. So when I'm looking at front, so when I look from here, it's like these are behind and this one is coming front. Correct? Now this one is coming front because I'm looking from front. So this bond is front and this bond are behind. So what happens? Don't get confused. In 4a we said this is behind because 4a is considering on this center. Now I'm considering on this center, which compared to this center, what is happening? This is coming front. Whereas as considering, when I was considering 4a, I'm considering this. So this was going behind and these two are front. But now I'm considering 8a. So for 8a, this is coming front and these are behind. So what is happening again? Here the lowest priority is away from the viewer. So that's excellent job. We have to just see the priority and give what it is. So if you look at this carbon, so first priority, second priority, and third priority. So it goes like this. It is again clockwise. So because it is clockwise, it is R. So it is 4as and 8ar. If you sometimes get confused between clock and anti-clock, remember R you write like this. So this is clockwise. S you write like this. So this is anti-clockwise. Okay. So the absolute configuration is 4as 8ar. So the choice was D. Okay. That's it for today's class. Thank you very much. I'll stop it.